Hello everybody, Interi back again with another video. And today's video, guys, is gonna be about the big three and which of these big three are the most talented one. I have got a question from my beloved friend Gold Wolf, who asked me this question. This question is very interesting, to be quite honest, because I have thought about this question myself. Because this is not an easy one to answer. This is a brutal one, really. Because every one of these big three members have their own case who is the most talented one. It's like a taste thing, you know. Somebody believes it's Federer, somebody believes it's Djokovic, somebody believes it is Nadal. What do I believe? And that doesn't mean that I am right. Absolutely not. Every single one can pick who they want, and the arguments are value for each and every one. But this is hard for me as well. This is brutally hard for me as well, because I have wanted to do a video about this topic in a long time, for sure more than 6 months. But I cannot decide myself which of these three of the big giants that I consider to have most talent. Because this is a hard one. This is a hard one, really. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give my best. I'm gonna give my arguments. Who of these three I believe has that slight edge to have the most talent? Alright guys, let's get into it and let's not waste any time. I'm gonna do a top 3 list. Number third, number second, and the number 1 player with most talent. And I'm gonna say why. Let's start with number third place. I'm gonna give my number third spot as the he is a super talented player, of course, but I'm gonna put him below the second and the first place. On my number third place, I'm gonna put Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is an all-around player. For me, he is the most complete tennis player of all time. I have said it several times on my videos. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he is the most talented player of all time. He has all the shots. He has forehand, he has backhand, he has serve, he has returns. He is the best serve returner of all time, in my opinion. He moves like a tiger. He probably is the best mover that we have ever seen on a tennis court. He slides even on hard courts. We don't have many tennis players who can slide on hard courts and doing that with success like Novak does. But I don't know, I just don't feel that he is the most talented player of all time. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I believe. If you look at his stats, first time he won a ATP Tour title, he was, if I'm not mistaken, in 2006. If I'm not mistaken, and he won that in a small tournament in Deutschland. He was 19 years old. He was 19 years old in 2006. When he won his first ever ATP Tour title. So he was 19 years old there. So in 2006, he became world number 1 in 2011 for the first time after beating Rafael Nadal in the Wimbledon final. And he was 23 years old in 2011 when he became the world number 1 for the first time. He won his first ever Grand Slam title in 2008 Australian Open after beating Roger Federer in the semi-finals and then Joel-Wilfried Tsonga in the final. He won his first ever Grand Slam title as 20 years old of age. So he became a professional tennis player in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. He was 16 years old when he became a professional tennis player in 2003, if I'm not counting wrong here. So this is some of the stats that belongs to Novak Djokovic, because I am a big believer when you will be the most talented player, the most skill, with the most skill, you have to do magical things in a young age. And some of you can now say, but players like Wilander, like Becker, and like Michael Chang, they have won their first ever Grand Slams as 17 years old of age. Yeah, that's true. You have a case there, but you cannot just win one thing and then not have a successful tennis career. I'm not saying that Becker, Wilander, and Chang they haven't had a successful career, because they have. Becker and Wilander, they have won several Grand Slam titles. Becker have won, I believe, 6 Grand Slam titles. Wilander 7, but Chang has only won 1, and that was French Open, his first Grand Slam, and his only in 1989. In 1989, I believe, that Chang won his first ever Grand Slam title, French Open, as 17 years old of age. But Wilander and Becker, they have won more. Wilander, like I said, 7, and Becker 6. But Wilander has never won Wimbledon, for example, and Becker has never won French Open, for example. So you are getting my point. So it is not just winning when you're young and not having a tremendous, great, successful tennis career. They have had it, but not even as near as Djokovic, of course. Djokovic, we all know what kind of career he has had. So, in my opinion, you have to do magical things as in young age, and you have to build it up with a tremendous, good, successful tennis career like Djokovic, of course, has had. So that was some of the stats from Djokovic. And on my number 2nd place, as the most talented player from these big 3, this has been a hard one to decide. Federer or Nadal. But I have to put Federer on that 2nd place. Why? My arguments. Federer became, for the first time, as world number 1 in 2004, after he won Australian Open in 2004, after beating Marat Safin in that final. And he was 22 of age there, and 6 months, something like that. He won his first ever Grand Slam title in 2013 in Wimbledon. He was 20 years old of age in 2013. I mean in 2003, I'm sorry, in 2003, not 13, what I'm saying. In 2003, after beating Mark Philippoussis in that final. So he was 21 years of age there. He won his first ever ATP Tour title in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, in Milano, an indoor tournament in February, I believe. He was... that time, in 2001, he was 19 years of age. He was not 20. He was 19 years of age in 2001, February. Federer. So, and he became a professional tennis player in 1988. He was 17 years of age in 1988 when he became a professional tennis player. And so that was some of the Federer stats. That's why I'm putting him as my number 2nd as the most talented player from these big 3. I am putting Rafael Nadal as the most talented player from these big 3, my friends. And I'm gonna give you my arguments why. Rafael Nadal became professional tennis player in 2000. Let me think. In 2001 here. So I'm not doing any mistakes, and that means he was only 15 years of age when he became a professional tennis player. That is insane. Only 15 years old of age. He won his first ATP Tour title in 2004. And he was only, in 2004, he was only 18 years old. In 2004, a clay court tournament, I believe, in Sopot, a small tournament on clay, on Poland, I believe. He was only 18 years of age. So he was younger than Djokovic, he was younger than Federer. You know, I set my numbers for Federer and for Djokovic. So he was only 18 years of age in 2004 when he won his first ever ATP Tour title in 2004, Sopot, Poland, clay court, a small clay court tournament. Then Nadal won his first ever Grand Slam title in 2005, only 1 year later, and that time he was 19 years old of age. So in 2005, younger than both Federer and Djokovic, like I said. Rafael Nadal became first ever world number one for the first time in 2008, when he defeated Roger Federer after that epic Wimbledon final in 2008 in 5 sets, but not immediately after that, but one month later, in August 2008. So he became Rafael Nadal for the first time as became world number one. So he was 22 years old and 2 months, younger than Federer, younger than Djokovic. And this is some of the stats. And I have one more stats that I'm going to say to you guys that is a big stat, in my opinion, that makes Rafael Nadal the most talented player from these big three. Is that when Rafael Nadal won all the 4 majors, when he completed like the Grand Slam, and we all know when you complete the Grand Slam, it is when you win all the 4 majors. I'm not speaking about winning them in the same year, because none of these 3 players have done it. But I'm meaning to win all the 4, and not missing one of them. Rafael Nadal won all the 4 majors and completed the Grand Slam in 2010, when he won the US Open in 2010. That was the only title that was missing in his cabinet when he won the US Open in 2010. And in that time, Rafael Nadal, with that title in 2010 US Open, he won all the 4 Grand Slams. And in that time, he was only 24 years old. And to compare that with Federer, when Federer completed the Grand Slam, that was in 2009 French Open. Well, like we all remember, Federer was chasing that French Open, was chasing in so many years, and he finally won it in 2009, when Roger Federer helped Roger Federer, we have to be honest, because Roger Federer was not capable of defeating Rafael Nadal. Robin Federer defeated Rafa, like we all remember, in that 4th round, 2009. And then Robin went to the final, and Federer took Robin in straight sets out in that 2009 French Open final. And Roger was in that time 27 years old of age, if I'm not mistaken. And to compare Djokovic, when he completed the Grand Slam in 2016, when he won the French Open, the same as Federer, he was chasing that French Open as well, but he had a tremendous good opponent in front of him, like Rafael Nadal, many times, who stopped him in French Open. But finally, Djokovic won French Open and as well in 2016, and completed the Grand Slam as well. And Djokovic was, if I'm not mistaken, 29 years old of age in 2016 when he completed the Grand Slam in 2016. Rafa 24, Federer 27, Djokovic 29. So this is also an argument. So my friends, these are some stats that are making me to believe, or are putting me on Rafa's side to consider him as the most talented player from these big 3. Then, I'm not saying that Rafa is the most complete player. I'm not saying that Rafa is the most beautiful player to see. I'm not saying that Rafa is the most all-around player, because we all know that Federer and Djokovic has better stats on the hard court and on grass than Rafael Nadal. I'm now saying Rafael Nadal, to me, is the most talented player from these big 3, on the basis of what I have said in this video. And another thing I want to say is that, not that it doesn't matter so much, but you have to consider this as well. I have heard Rafael Nadal say in interviews, already when I was 8 years old, I was competing with players who was 12 years old of age, and I was winning those tournaments. So to compete when you are 8 years old and to compete with players who are 40 years older than you and winning those tournaments, that is also a sign that this guy has to be the greatest talent of all time. Because if you're a bigger talent than Federer and you're a bigger talent than Djokovic, then you have to be the greatest talent of all time. And another thing that makes me believe that Rafael Nadal is the greatest talent of all time is the success. Like I said, you cannot only be the greatest talent of all time only because you have won a Grand Slam in an early age or becoming a world number one in an early age. Because Leighton Hewitt, he is the youngest world number one of all time. He is as 20 years of older age, but that doesn't make Leighton Hewitt the greatest talent of all time, because he has not had the success as Federer, Djokovic and Nadal. So you have to have the whole package, and I believe that Rafael Nadal has the whole package. This is my opinion, this is my taste, this has not been an easy one, an easy answer to make a video about. This has been a hard one. I have thought about this in several months, almost in 6 months, maybe more, but I have made my conclusion that I believe that Rafael Nadal is the greatest talent of all time. Greater talent than Federer, greater talent than Djokovic. I want to say one more thing about Rafael Nadal that also makes me believe. If you compare Djokovic, Federer and Nadal, when they are hurt, when they have injuries, and they have had, all three of them have injuries. Nadal has had most injuries when it comes to these big three. We all know that. If we look Djokovic, when he was injured in 2017, I believe, with his shoulder or arm, and he took a break for 6 months, when he did the comeback in 2018, he didn't have immediate success. It took him 6 months or 7 months to have a great success when he won Wimbledon 2018 last year. But before that, he was losing early. He lost to Cincinnati in French Open quarterfinal in 2018. And he lost early in Indian Wells, Miami, and even in Australian Open, I believe he lost early in 2018. I believe he lost in the 4th round against Chang. So it took Djokovic a quite time to come to his best after a break in 6 to 7 months, like he had in 2017, a break after Wimbledon in 2017. And to compare it with Nadal and Federer, when he had that break in 2016 after Wimbledon, he had a break for 6 to 7 months. What did he do in 2017 Australian Open? Yeah, he did a magical run there, and he won Australian Open 2017 after beating his long-time nemesis in the final, in an epic final in 5 sets, like we all remember. So that is also, and then Roger, he pulled out great performances after Australian Open as well. Won in the Wells, won Miami, and he did a great season all in that 2017. Roger's best season in recent years, much better than 2018 and 2019. One of Roger's best season ever, actually. Not the best season ever, because to me, Roger's best season ever is the 2016 season. I'm sorry, the 2006 season, when he won 12 titles, I believe, that year. But 2017 is one of Roger's best season of his career, 2017. And Rafa Nadal, he's not worse than Roger Federer. When Rafa is hurt and he does comebacks, he immediately shows success. Why? Because he's a super talented player. Even Rafa did a great 2017. He almost defeated Roger Federer in that epic Australian Open final in 2017. And he was also hurt. He was also not playing tennis for 4 to 5 months or something like that, because he took a break also in 2016. He took a long break as well in 2016. And he didn't play tennis for 4 to 5 months. And when he played that 2017 Australian Open, he almost won it. And Rafa has done this several times. Roger has done it one time, because Roger has not had some injuries like Rafa has. But Rafa has had injuries many times in his career, and he has come back to doing immediately successes. Why? Because he has that super talented game deep inside his bones. And only with that kind of talent you can do immediate success. And that's why I am putting Novak Djokovic on my number 3rd place, and that's why I am putting Roger Federer on my number 2nd place, and that's why I am putting Rafael Nadal on my number 1 place. I am not saying that you guys need to agree with me, because this is a tough one to answer, but this is what I feel anyway. And when these 3 careers will be over, I believe that the player who has the most talent, which I believe it is Rafa Nadal, he also will be the most successful player of all time by ending his career with most Grand Slams of all time. And I believe that in the end of the day, when these 3 careers will be over, I think Rafa will be the player who will have the most Grand Slams of all time. For now it is Federer, but I think Rafa will surpass him. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and bye bye.